Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening my axe. Very, very famous saying by Abraham Lincoln. When it comes to planning or when it comes to building a business, you want to spend a fair bit of your time planning exactly what it is you're going to do. In this video, we're going to talk about how to put together an effective 90-day action plan for your business. G'day, Ben Futrell here, co-founder of Max My Profit. We're all about helping you build the business that you imagine. Now, if you imagine having a business that was vastly different to what you've ended up with, there's a good chance that you haven't spent enough of your time planning. And it's a bit confusing. Some people are a bit unsure as to how to go about planning. So let's start off with understanding a bit about what a 90-day plan is and how it can help you build your business. So a 90-day action plan is a breakdown of the activities that you're going to conduct over that 90-day period. Now, 90 days just happens to be 3 months, 1 quarter, or 13 weeks, however you want to look at it. And it's a nice period of time in any business to really focus on 2, 3, 4 core strategies that are going to help you get your business to the next level. Now, a 90-day plan typically will dovetail into a larger plan. And I think one of the things that a lot of people don't do when they go out on their own or start embarking on this business journey is thinking about what it is they're trying to build. So I want you to think about what it is you want to end up with, or what is it going to look like when you arrive at the finish point, and then you can start to break it down. Then you can sort of go, well, is that a 10-year goal? So what are my 5-year goals? What are my 3-year goals? What are my 1-year goals? And then you can break that down into 4 quarter goals. So quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4, or the 1-year goal. Then you just want to focus on your first 90 days and think about, what do I have to do in that 90-day period to be on my way to achieving my goals? So you'll set some KPIs, which are key performance indicators, and then you'll be able to work week by week or day by day by looking at your 90-day plan. Now, you might be asking yourself, why do I need a 90-day plan? Well, it's going to keep you focused and driven. It's also going to let those that are in your team know exactly what it is you're trying to achieve. A good 90-day plan will be really easy for you to articulate and hold you accountable to doing the things that you said that you were going to do. For example, if you were going to climb a mountain and you knew that you had to do 12 meters a day to get to the top, and you only did 10 meters today, well, then you know you're 2 meters behind. If you did 14 meters today, then you know you're 2 meters ahead of schedule. And so it's really important that you use your 90-day plan to be able to keep yourself focused, keep on track, let others know what it is that you're trying to achieve, and then also hold you accountable. If you're working with a coach of some sort, it's always a great idea to give them a copy of your 90-day plan, because then they can run through that with you on a weekly, fortnightly, monthly basis, whatever it is that you want to do to hold you accountable to doing what it is you said you were going to do. Now, you might be wondering about how it is you go about writing a 90-day plan. Now, I don't have any hard or fast rules of how you should go about doing it. In fact, I love handwriting my plans out. I'm not a big fan of using spreadsheets. However, maybe you love using spreadsheets to document things. So you could put your 13-week plan into a spreadsheet on your computer and use that for your 90-day plan. Me personally, I like to have one big piece of paper, draw 13 columns, and just put week 1, 2, 3 all the way through to week 13 on the end of that. And then on the left-hand side, I'm going to write down the key goals or strategies that I want to achieve in that quarter. So for example, maybe what I'd like to do is I'd like to increase my conversion rate from 25% to 30%, and that could be my key outcome for the quarter. Then what I would do is in each of those 13 weeks, I would write down what I was going to do to make that happen. So for example, maybe what I was going to do was I was going to learn how to handle objections better. And so I could put that down as one of my key strategies for the quarter. And then I can, maybe the week 1 is do research to find training that I can do. Week 2 is decide on what training I'm going to do. Week 3 is start doing the training, and all the way through the quarter until each week has an activity that's helping me achieve that target. At the end of the quarter, I'm then able to look at it and go, did I complete all those tasks, and did it help me achieve my desired outcomes? Now, one of the most important parts of any plan, let alone a 90-day plan, but I think it's more important in a 90-day plan because 90 days will happen pretty quickly, and that's to make sure that you have measurable objectives in your plan. Just to say I'm going to have a new website is not a measurable objective. It has to be connected to something like I'm going to increase the number of leads I get organically through search engines, for example. And maybe one of the strategies to make that happen is building or improving your website. So you want a very measurable objective so you can clearly see whether or not you're on track. Just like that example I gave you before about climbing a mountain, you want to know, am I on track? Am I ahead of schedule or am I behind schedule? But every single item on your plan needs to be measurable. Now, let me give you some examples that might help you work out what you want to put into your plan and how to set some KPIs. Now, there's very obvious things like sales is a very obvious KPI, or profit margins is another obvious KPI, or number of leads. But then you might have things like time spent working on versus in the business is something that you could be tracking or aiming to hit a target for. It could be the type of task that you do in your business. So if you go through and you grade all your tasks from A, B, C, and D, and you only want to be doing A, or spend 80% or more of your time doing the A grade task, which maybe you define them because they are a better revenue generator for you, or it's a better use of your time. You make more money by doing those tasks. Whatever it might be, you can set those things as goals. It could be customer satisfaction. It could be number of units moved, number of quotes done. It could be average dollar sale. It could be number of transactions that a customer has purchased from you. But in that 90 days, you've got to start thinking about what are my key objectives for the quarter, and make sure that I have written out some clear goals that are easy to follow. Now, when it comes to setting goals, what I find is a lot of people overestimate what they can actually achieve in 90 days. And so it's easy to overwhelm yourself with too many tasks and things and objectives on your 90-day plan. What I suggest you do is you pick 3 key areas of your business that you'd like to improve in the next quarter, and then ask yourself, how would you like to improve those? By what percentage or number, or what improvement would you like to see that's measurable? Then ask yourself, if I get to the end of this 90 days and I achieve those 3 things, will I be happy? Will I want to high five somebody, even if it is myself, for the results that I've gotten? If the answer is yes, then that's all you need in your 90-day plan. Now, what's really important is that as you go through the 90 days, resist the temptation to add new things in that were not on the list to start with. And this is a mistake I see many people making, is that they get overwhelmed because they start at the beginning of the 90 days with their 3 core outcomes or strategies or goals that they're going to work on. And then throughout the quarter, they get distracted by other things. Very common for entrepreneurs to get distracted by bright, shiny objects. So stay really focused on the 3 objectives that you set. And if new things come into your life as you're going through that 90 days, put them on the ideas board for the next quarter. Now, if I had $1 for every time I asked somebody if they had a plan and they said yes, and I say, can you show it to me? And they said no, and I go, why not? And they say, because it's in my head. Well, let me tell you, there was a study done from years and years ago in regards to the people that achieve the most, and the number one things that people do that are high achievers is they write down their goals. So I'm going to really encourage you to make sure that not only do you think about what you want as key outcomes for the next 90 days, but you write them down. Get that piece of paper out, draw up your 13 weeks, or you do it in your computer, whatever's easy for you or more comfortable. But make sure these things are written down and you can have them printed out in front of you. Stick them up on the wall. Share them with people that will hold you accountable. Writing your goals down is going to be much more impactful than just having them up here in your head. Because when they're in your head, you can change them. You can trick people into saying, oh, I didn't really mean that. Once you've written them down, you're committing them to a pen and pencil or ink and paper. And then all of a sudden, you've got something that people can hold you accountable to, and you can hold yourself accountable to. So writing them down is vital. Don't even think about making an excuse not to write your goals down. Now, when it comes to keeping yourself on track with a 90-day plan, there's a few tricks that I'm going to give you that will be super helpful when it comes to actually achieving the goals that you've set out for the 90 days. The first one I've gave you in the last sort of tip was to make sure that you write everything down, but then hand that 90-day plan out to 3 or 4 people that you know are willing to hold you accountable. If you don't have anybody that you're able to do that with, go and find yourself a coach that you can work with. A good coach will hold you accountable by looking at that plan with you on a regular basis and going through the items that you had on there that were action items that had to be done and making sure that you got those done. The second tip that I've got for you is to make sure that you look at it each and every day. Look at it first thing in the morning and look at it last thing at night, just to remind yourself what were the goals that you set for the quarter and what were the KPIs that you had set for each individual day to achieve. By looking at your plan on a daily basis, it's always going to be at top of mind and help you really drive forward. My third tip for you is then to also verbalize these things out loud. So when you're looking through your plan, read it out loud to yourself. Even if you look at yourself in the mirror, it sounds a little bit weird, but I can tell you now that by really reinforcing what the goals are and what the actions are for the day, you're going to make sure that you do it. My fourth tip is then to make sure you allocate resources for getting the goal achieved. It's no good writing a goal down and then not having the time or the money to implement this particular strategy to get the outcome that you desire. So in the beginning, when you have documented exactly what it is you're going to work on in that 90 days, also think about what resources do I need? What people do I need? What money do I need? Is there any hurdles or things that are going to be objects in my way that I need to sort out first, and make sure you've got those things taken care of, because that will hold you back. My fifth and final tip for you is don't be discouraged if in a day you don't achieve the things that you set out. 90 days is exactly that. It's 90 days, and one day alone is not going to wreck it. There's a saying that I love that I got taught many moons ago, and that is that one hot day doesn't make a summer. So one bad day of a 90-day plan is not going to derail your whole 90 days. It may mean you don't achieve your goals entirely, but it's only going to be a very small percentage that you don't achieve by missing that day. So don't be too hard on yourself. Just get stuck into it and get back on with the next day. All right, and to wrap this one up, just to make sure that you're really clear about how the 90-day plan works, you need to make sure that you do at least have 12 months of goals set out, and that 90-day plan will then become part of that overall goal. You want to make sure that you've set KPIs, so you've got some key performance indicators, some numbers that you can easily track, whether it's sales, quotes, average dollar sale, customer satisfaction, hours worked, products moved, whatever it might be. It's up to you to decide exactly what you're going to use to track it. Think about it like the dashboard in your car. You wouldn't go driving off in your car without the fuel gauge or the speedometer or any of those things working. If your dashboard was broken, you would definitely try and get it fixed. And the same thing needs to apply to your business. So make sure that you're able to track everything as you move along through your 90-day plan. Keep it front of mind. Make sure you look at it at least once or twice a day. Share it with some people that will hold you accountable, and you will be smashing it out of the park in absolutely no time. Now, if you do need help with your 90-day plan or your longer term planning in your business, then we have a team of business accelerators that are just on standby waiting to help you build the business that you imagined. Head to maxmyprofit.com.au to learn more about our business coaching programs. And in fact, you can download our program fees and guide to get a feel for what's included in each of our programs and how much they cost. maxmyprofit.com.au.